BlaXit family, BlaXit family, BlaXit family. We have an exclusive here for you today. This is a special Sunday morning, and BlaXit is here with code members and also his Honourable Samba Jallo and also his Honourable Usman Toure and also our lovely Queen Yasin. And also Angela, and also she is also the treasurer of Code, and also we have Matthew, who's the proprietor of Hyperlink, and also the executive member of Code, and the chair of Code, Luke, and of course lovely Adrian, who is also the vice chair of Code and co-founder of BlaXit. So, why are we here on this beautiful Sunday morning at the beautiful Hyperlink Village Resort? We're here because we're talking automatic citizenship. We're at a crucial time here in the Gambia where the National Assembly and Parliament are now negotiating and discussing and debating the Constitution, the draft Constitution. So these are historic times. Very historical. And why are we here? Because we're asking for an amendment. We are asking for section 188, which was in the report, to be discussed and also to be included in the draft constitution as a clause in section 5 of the draft constitution. So these recommendations should have been included in this. And there are too many omissions from this into this. So we're asking why?
My name is Honorable Usman Toure, a National Assembly member from Sabah Sanjak constituency.
I love your name. Usman, Honorable Usman Toure. Imagine that, so that's the second big Usman Toure, Honorable Usman Toure.
I think I'm really emotional from what I heard, especially from my sister. And what I also observe is you are a group with one objective, one focus, one vision. And what you are requesting really shouldn't be a problem. Because I can give you an example. Gambians living here or live here for Europe, some of them are given automatic citizenship. So why Gambia is denying their own descendants, their own people, that right? This is a right, and it's a natural right. So I believe, as I told you earlier, this is the first time I'm coming to know about you. But it's my responsibility and role to do whatever I can do to make sure that Gambians recognize this and they assimilate you in the community. You are part of us, and we should respect that. We should also accept that and do it as fast as possible. That is my start. At the moment, we are currently reviewing our constitution. We don't know what will be the outcome of it yet, but whatever, this is a task that we will take up together. Yeah, that I can promise.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, can you introduce yourself to BlaXit family for me, please?
Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Samba Jallo, member for Nyamina Dankungu and also the minority leader in Parliament. And then I think this is the second time, almost. Today is the third time for me meeting you. You've gone to my office. You again gone to my office. Then when I heard you, I heard your complaint. If I was the minister responsible of your affairs, it will be a straight endorsement. Because twice or three times I met you. Anytime you spoke to me, I feel so emotional. I just about to drop tears. Because I see no cause and just to discriminate a fellow African, especially following your history until you know that your roots come from Gambia. For me, I believe you should be given anything that you want with regard of your citizenship. You should not be looked at as an alien. As an alien. You are contributing immensely to the economic of this country. All this investment you are doing here, you could have parked it, deposited in the bank. You can make easy money. But you say, no, we're not going to do it. We are going back to our African brothers and invest and help government to create more employment. Then you help government to improve its economy. So really always, as I told you earlier on, I will take the course to champion your cause with being a member of parliament, the executive, maybe you might know, member of parliament will represent the people, but there are certain, the implementation of our policies and program is solely responsible by the executive. But also being a member of parliament representing the Gambian people. If you choose to be Gambian, then you are part of us. You should be integrated, you should be assimilated straight away, as long as you have chosen that you are Gambian, and then not even chosen, but you have follow history till you found your ancestors come from the Gambia. Then what next again? Is just to give you what you want. You make your investment, support government in creating more employment. Because if the entire people from the diaspora, or at least if you have 300 or 500 from the diaspora who came back and then want to settle in the Gambia, they came with their investment. How much money are you investing in this small country? It will be very huge. This is why I give you the guarantee that we will be championing your cause, not only sitting down, but we will be leading you to our own executive, to our own people who are responsible to make sure that your affairs is being handled the way you want it. Not only sitting down, but we will be going with you foot by foot to the various offices that we feel if we accompany you there, you might get what you want. So I thank you again very much.
But we're also aware that the government and the Prime Minister, or the President, sorry, has the power to confer citizenship, as Yahya Jammeh did at that time. So because that was happening at that time, we thought that it would be automatic once again, not realising that it was a situation that was coming to an end. We knew about some of the politics here, but to be honest with you, we're not subject to, and we cannot vote. We don't have any rights. In fact, we don't have equal rights. So the channel that was created out of the result of an interview that I did with a man called Rodamaya. Rodamaya is a prolific vlogger, very well known worldwide. He has over 500,000 followers as his group, and he also has something like 12 million views. So he's really putting Africa on the map. So he came to Gambia, he goes to different countries and he shows those countries. So when he came to Gambia, I was one of the representatives for Gambia of the diaspora. So I did the interview. The interview that I did went viral globally. And so as a result of that, more people got interested in repatriation because I discussed the difference between my life here and my life there. The difference between your mental health there and your mental health here. And I also talked about the benefits of fresh food. Living among your own people makes 100% difference to your mindset. And it also makes you realise all the potential that is here through your own people, because I've seen ingenuity here that I've not seen in the UK. And so it made me realise that the geniuses of our world are here. And so we need to invest here in order to ensure that the youth can be developed and reach their full potential And so we can do that as investors. We're not coming to take over. The idea is that, and a lot of people might be afraid of that, and that is that fear that we need to put to bed, that I'm a Gambian, so I'm not coming to take anything, we're coming to give. And we're not coming to depend on any system. We're coming to contribute to that system. And I think that's really, really important that people understand our role as investors. Yeah, we're coming, the only thing that we want is, we want to relearn our culture. We need that because we're like nomads, we don't have culture. We're coming to relearn our language because we don't have language. So we need that. These are the things that we need back from Gambia. We need our citizenship restored. This is what we need. We need family. We need our African names back, and we need family. I think those are small things to ask for in return for our investment back into the economy. In terms of what we can achieve and what we can give, let me give you an example of just one young individual called Usman Toure, who is a young, promising Gambian, and I happened to meet him and do an interview with him. And when I did the interview with Usman Toure, I realised the potential that lied in this young man within 5 minutes of having a conversation with him. And as a result of that, because of my background in production and also within journalism many years ago, I realised that we should harness this and show the world this young man. As a result of doing that, great things happened. The interview went viral, and as a result of that, he was offered a university place anywhere in the world. Yeah, he was also sponsored by an NBA basketball player, also private investors, and also our BlaXit family members also donated enough to pay his airfare, his 2 tickets for his airfare, and also to pay towards his stipendary, and also to contribute towards his living expenses. And I gave him like £1,000 cash in his hands. So we're not just talking, right? We're here to invest in the youth. We also work on a creative project at the moment to also show the artists and historians here in the Gambia and the educators here. I've also, given talks at the University of the Gambia in the law department. I've given talks at schools to keep Gambians here to stop the brain drain from going to Europe. I've done programs about stopping the back way. I've sat down with many of your key figures here in the Gambia, be it SFR, be it Halifa Salah, be it Mustafa from TAF, and Jai. I've interviewed him and showed his properties, and Sol Fraser, the Sanyang family, and so on. I've shown examples of success here. I'm still going on to show, hopefully, the Indonesia oil and also QCell. So I think showing these success stories is important and attracts more inward investment. So we have a great role to play in terms of being a window to the world. And it's important that us as representatives based here, we choose to reside here. Yeah, we choose to be Gambian. And I think that's what's important, is that we choose to be Gambian. Yeah, and we choose to learn the language. We choose to be part of a Gambian family, and we choose to have an integration and assimilation program so that we can all resettle and be balanced. We choose to want to learn how to make pancake. We choose to, want to make benachin and do cooking programs so I can show it to the world how to make wonjo, ginger, baobab, which will create industries here because it will create the demand. So we choose to do agriculture. We choose to build roads. We choose to contribute to our local economies. We choose to contribute to our local schools. We choose to give 10 computers to Prisabi High School. We choose to give computers to the local police. We choose to do all of these things. Yeah? We choose to help individuals as well as families. We choose to make sure that there's local water in our local village and that they can get access to clean water. We choose to do these things and many more things We choose to make sure that we do a range of clothing so that the local tailors have all got work which we can export out and get sold and bring them in a higher income than they've ever earned. We choose to do these things. And so it's important that, you know, Gambia chooses us.
Can I just interject here? My name is Luke Kennedy. I'm the chairman of Code. And we're working with so many communities. And something that she said is so important. In the Gambia, you've got the most beautifulest children in the world. Yeah. I used to have a market stall on Post Office Road, me and my wife. And you know all the schools around there, all the children come out. If you knew the potential of your children could rule the world. Your children could rule the world. But will they be given a chance to rule the world? Will they be given a chance to rule Africa? We see the potential, huge. The minds are so dynamic, but they need that opportunity. Are you going to leave them behind? No. Hey, not many years, they're going to be leaving school. What are you going to do with them? You've got young men sitting around on the street. You've got young women sitting around. Lovely people. Your Gambia is like healing. You heal us. What do you mean? You know what healing means? We come wounded, but your spirit heals us. It's true. Your vibes heals us, make us. Your children and your young people need help. If we don't want nothing from you, we want to make them children and make them young people to be somebody. But there's not only a small window of time because they are getting frustrated. But we know how to do all these things. As I was saying before, if you want an aircraft wheel building, come to us. If you want any form of medication or any form of technology, we have it. We've done it. Whatever you want to go to the moon, we'll help you go to the moon. But give us a chance. And we don't say give us a chance and give us money. We say give us a chance and let's put our money in. You know, so, you know, there's so many things, but we need to have this thing come to a close, a decision, and move. We are willing to work in the government as consultants and consult on anything. Power. I told him about the power situation here the other day. Uganda, we have people in the UK that can give you power, make your power system work properly within 1 year and give you probably 30% excess. I have had a meeting with the Gambian government already, but nothing. And I believe this man here and yourself is going to be the people that is going to spearhead it. And you'll be so happy.
No, I didn't finish. What I just wanted to say is that we're not asking you to do like all of the hard work so far as automatic citizenship is concerned. And we're happy to meet you halfway with the recommendations that were found by the CRC. What we were upset about was the fact that none of the recommendations of the CRC that we attended, the CRC consultations, we put in 72 submissions into the CRC. And we gave them the names of 232 investors who want to invest. We gave them, I handed them to Justice Jallo. And I also went back and I saw His Honourable Justice Jallo. And I mentioned about the report, but the report on its own doesn't mean anything unless it is amended into the Constitution. And this is what we're asking for. So we made a very simple process that we said we're prepared to cover the cost for. So when asking the government to pay for the changes, because the changes are minimal, Very, very minimal. And so it's a simple 3-step process, similar to processes that already exist in other countries. So the first step is that we ask for a stamp, a very basic and simple stamp, which goes into the passport. When an immigration officer asks at the airport, what is the purpose of your visit to the Gambia? You would then say, I'm coming to repatriate, I'm coming to live. At that point, they say, okay, and they take out a stamp. That stamp is a certificate of citizenship. No, it's not full citizenship. It is partial citizenship. But what that gives them is the leeway to invest, the assurance to invest, to make them feel they belong somewhere. We feel like we don't belong anywhere. Yeah, we're stateless, we're nomads, and we're displaced. We're unwanted, and it's a disgrace.
Seriously.
So after that step, they still have to go, we still have to go and pay for our residency. So we're not taking any money out of the mouth of Gambians or in terms of taxation. We would still continue to do that, but we're asking for the alien card to be changed. We no longer want to be called aliens. We are tired of being called aliens. We're in the queue with the same people that oppressed our ancestors. So imagine you're standing in a queue at Canifin, and in front of you is a white man who just walks through. You understand? And so for us, it's a hurtful situation because we're coming away. I know in Africa they think that everything in the West is all gold and shiny and that the streets are paved with gold. It's not. It's paved with dog feces. Yeah, and the truth is that, you know, we helped many a Gambian who came the back way, who ended up homeless. And we had a project and we used to feed the homeless. Many Gambians that were sleeping in shopping centres like Stratford, we used to give them money for food and help them. So it's not this grandeur place that you think. When Gambians go, they're not got access, especially in the back when they don't have access to healthcare. So we have to give them money to go and get medical care. They don't have access to any kind of financial support. So some of them sometimes end up begging on the street. It's not what they thought it was going to be. Some of them don't have food, some of them have dirt caked on their skin, right? And when they can't find a toilet, unfortunately, you know, I don't want to go into detail, but let me put it this way, yeah? We need to invest in Gambia. So that's point one, that's just part one of the process, okay? Step two is that we have to embark on a program of integration and assimilation. So step two, that integration and assimilation process is basically us being welcomed into a family, into a group. So if someone says that I look Fola, or I look Mandinka, or I look Jolla, then I'm taken in by that particular group in that particular region and by a family. That family would also help us to integrate by showing us cultural norms and customs so that we don't do anything disrespectful by mistake. Because we don't know about passing money with the left or passing money with the right. We don't understand this. We're brought up in a different society. We're brought up in white, westernized countries, some of us, and some of us from the Caribbean also. There are similarities, but they're not the same. Yeah, we might have similar words even in our lexicon because of the history of slavery brought down through our ancestors, like the word nyam, etc. But in terms of, on a general basis, there are many differences. And so we need to understand them so that we do not offend, we do not disrespect, and that we blend. Yeah? Part of that is also language lessons for 2 years, so at least we can get on and not be a burden in any way to society, and that we also are able to integrate, whether we go shopping or whether we're going to an event or we're coming to a meeting. We can talk to you, so you're not strained to talk to us in English. We ought to come here to Gambia, our country, so we should be able to talk to you in our languages. And so that's part of the process. The third part of the process is the application for citizenship. We're not asking to change your systems. This should happen after 2 years. So when this course is now finished, part of that is a payment into the Gambian Development Fund. Okay? Because we know that you're going to be losing revenue from the continuous income from the residency application that you get every year. So what we're saying is, to replace that, we'll put together a development fund. Okay? That development fund will have contributions from everybody, all African descendants that are coming back to return. And of course, a larger deposit from those that are wanting citizenship. Yeah? That development fund would then go and be chosen by the people that support entirely the automatic citizenship for us. We're supporting those that support us. So we'll go to your villages, to your local areas. Whoever supports, that is where the development fund will go. Yeah? And those people that support us will be project managing alongside with us to make sure that those systems are implemented, whether it's a standpipe, whether it's a borehole, whether it's a drop-in health centre, whether it's a clinic, whether it's a school, yeah? Whether it's a credit union to help you to buy and sell, whether it's land, regardless of whatever it is, that is what the fund is there, and that will be decided on by an assessment, a needs assessment that is created by you. Not by us, because we don't understand what we need in your village. For example, we have a seed program here because we found the need for farmers who told us, and chiefs that told us, and councils of elders that told us they need seeds. So when we go out and we now go and film and look at those beautiful okras and, you know, watermelons and tomatoes and cucumbers and cabbages and spinach and even other new types of foods that we've introduced here now growing and flourishing in the Gambia, baby corn. It's a new export, it's a new life, and so this is, you know, something that we are doing, and it's very important that this is recognised, and that's why the end of part 3 is after we've done our application, which is the same as what you've done, and we will do the application, so you don't have any hard work. We just pass the same information that you need across to the immigration department. After that, the only thing that we ask is that the government, just like what they did in Ghana, has a special celebration with us to mark our citizenship. That's all we're asking. So it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, certificate of citizenship, partial citizenship. Yeah? It's easy. It's not hard. 2, change the alien card to a certificate of citizenship. Stop making us feel as though we're in a hostile environment.
Discriminative, really.
Yeah? We should have equal rights. Remember, at number 1, that entitles us to stop having these leverages and barriers with regard to land ownership and so on. Because someone might want to buy a farm and employ 100 Gambians. Yeah. You're now permitting that from happening because they might say, look, I'm going to work with Gambians and I'm going to leave this to Gambians. So you're also stopping your own inheritance. You see, right now I've got a plot of land. It's only 20 by 20. But it's a plot of land that I am going to do a raffle on to help raise money for Gambia, to help raise money for Code, right? So that we can continue to do what we're doing. And that land can go to a Gambian. It doesn't matter who it goes to, as long as they're African. Who else is coming here to do that?
They invest and they take the money straight back to China. And where are we going to take the money? Where are we going to take the money? I can't take it nowhere. I have nowhere to take the money.
I won't be too long. My name is Matthew Hippolyte. I came here in 2005 on holiday. And immediately I came to Gambia. There were so many similarities with the Caribbean. The size, the language, the customs, that I kind of really thought that this is the place that I want to settle. So in the second week I was here, I bought this place. I do properties in England, so I was able at that point to buy it. Sharif Tambadou did my transactions. I'd never met Sharif before in my life. We spoke over the phone because I was here for 2 weeks. I bought it in the second week from a trader who bought it from the bank, because during the 80s, the person who developed this place which is Sambu. You may know of Sambu. He was in Bakau, and then he came here. He developed here. Bakadaji developed next door. And Sambu lost it to the banks, and this trader bought it from the bank, who took it from Sambu, and I took it from that person. But I've never met Sharif Tambadou before, and so we spoke on the phone, and I said to him, look, I'll meet you in London, in Edgware Road, because he was staying in a hotel in Edgware Road. I'll meet you there, and we can do the paperwork there. So I was sitting down in the reception in that hotel. I'm telling you this story because it's significant. I was sitting down in the reception of the hotel, waiting for this person. I'd never met him before. And, you know, I kept seeing this one gentleman walking around, and I thought, oh, this must be Sharif. Now he's a black man, he's in the hotel and he's walking around. He passed me about 3 times. So the 3rd time I stopped him and I said, are you Sharif? He says, are you Matthew? So I said, yes, I'm Matthew. He says, he embraced me, he held me, he was so happy that it was a black person putting such an investment in the country, because he'd never had that level of investment here before. He was happy, he was very happy. You know, and I was happy. We remain friends, and to this day we're still friends. You know, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't even know why I was here. It wasn't one of those situations where I felt I had to go back to Africa. I knew I had to leave England. I knew I had to get out of England, because England was poison to me. It was poison to my system. Through the time I was growing up, all the way through, I knew I had to do that. I tried the Caribbean, but the Caribbean seemed so colonial to me. It was like going back to England in a different place, you know. So Africa was the place that I had to be. So at the end of the day, when I came here, I decided, well, look, I'm gonna turn this, what he had, into a going concern. I'm gonna turn it back into a resort, update everything, change everything, go eco-friendly, and make this worthwhile for somebody to actually, you know, come to. The first thing I thought is that it was going to be a very large amount of money it would have taken me to do everything. So I found a different way of building. This building that we're in here, this is a dome, we built that. I built that with 3 Gambians. Myself and 3 Gambians built this. And that's having gone to India, buying the machine, learning how to use the machine, learning how to make the blocks, and then coming back and putting it into practice. When people saw me in the quarries, with a bottle of water and a cup, and I had soil in my hand and tasted it, they thought I was crazy. But the soil was the waste from the people who quarry the rocks. So all of this is built from the waste. When I first went there, I only had to pay for loading, because people didn't even want this material. So I paid for the loading. After a while, they realized there was a demand for it, and obviously they started to charge me more money. But the whole point of it, all the masks that you see here are molds that we made, myself and the workers who are here. So all the skills that I learned, and as I learned it, I gave it to them, and we built. We built this, we built the buildings inside where all the accommodation is, which is further to the back. And I always saw this as an art space facility. So it's not, I didn't want a traditional kind of a hotel where they knock down all the trees and clean up all the place and everything is barren apart from the building and the restaurant and the swimming pool. I wanted to integrate everything into what was already here. And what was already here was these phenomenal plants. We have, I don't know, maybe about 20 different varieties of trees here. And I brought other trees from Liberia. I brought cocoa. So we grow our own cocoa here. I brought breadfruit. We have breadfruit trees right here. We have numerous different plants. And we even do a nature walk now with our clients, which ends up at the bar, and they can make smoothies from the plants that are actually on site. I basically wanted this to be an arts-based facility. That way people can integrate. The guests, you know, a lot of people want all-inclusive type of buildings where at the end of the day, the guests are all there and they take as much money from them as they can, and they frighten them and tell them, don't go out there, don't go out there. I didn't want that. I wanted something where inside of this restaurant here, there are weddings and the guests take part in it. We've had wrestling here. We've had up to 2,500 people here because what you're seeing is a very small part of it, where we've had the wrestling, not the actual fighting. This is the preliminaries before they wrestle, where they you know, talking about what they're going to do to each other. We've had that here. The last one was last year. We had it here. That's right. We've had numerous different functions here. We do a movie night here every Wednesday because we have a top projector and screen, and we do an open air movie nights here. We do Zumba here. We do all sorts of different things. We've had a children's day with Icy Wonderland, which was so phenomenal. People are still talking about it. When are you going to do it again? When are you going to do it again? We work in partnership with the community. The community knows Hyperlink, and they know we've done things. The food and beverage festival that Gambian Tourist Board put on, not last year, the year before, they had it here. We're a facility. We see ourselves as a facility whereby people can come here and everything is already here. The chairs are here, the tables are here, the lighting is here, the sound, the production, everything. So we've had beautiful weddings here. So we transformed this place according to what the needs are. We built a new mini village there where we're going to be having workshops. So people who do tie-dye, people who do other things in the community can come and show the guest how to do it. So it's an interaction. There's an interaction. We don't see ourselves as a hotel that's close to the community. We see ourselves as a resort that's open to the community, but at the same time respects what the guests need. And when it comes to tourism nowadays, most people don't want to sit down in a hotel for 2 weeks looking at each other. After 2-3 days, they're fed up of seeing each other. They're fed up of going to the swimming pool every single day. They want to do something different. So we have different programs for them when they come here as well, which means they don't have to actually stay in the hotel alone. And lately, we've started a new program for people from the diaspora who want to come back. Knowing the problems that they have, we've adjusted our price and adjusted our program so that at the end of the day, they can come here, stay for long periods of time, and not have to pay the same kind of rates that they would have to pay. And whilst they're here, we give them the assistance that they need so that they can have a very smooth transition from where they're coming into here. We're working with Code, we're working with BlaXit, we're working with all the people who are workers within this community. Not the people who just talk about it, but the people who are working. As I said, I've been here for 15 years, and this is not the first group that started up, and this is not the first time that we've tried as a community to get together. But I think that this group, this community that's starting up now is completely different to those of the past, because the people who are involved in it, Juliet has spoken, Luke has spoken, the people who are involved in it are people who are single-minded in the focus of helping people to come over to Africa, to integrate into Gambia, and to be of benefit to Gambia. So, it's called hyperlink, but the link is the important part of that. We are the link. People pass through here, people meet each other who haven't seen each other for years, who didn't even know that they were here. We link people together, and God willing, it'll continue that way. I do ask though that, Gambia see us. We just need to be seen. see us and appreciate what we're trying to do. Because, as Adrian says, we are the descendants of the enslaved. And sometimes we don't know why we're here, but we're here because somewhere in our distant past, there was a mother or a grandmother who was fighting to see that her grandchildren, which are us, would be able to return. But now that we have returned, we just ask that you give us that kind of a welcome that we need.
The reason why we'll set up a banking system is because we're looking further on down the road. We want to create jobs for the people and also want to bring our people together. Now, we've all spoke passionately about our perspective on why we should get citizenship. And when I look at myself, I've been living in the UK for since I was born basically. And it hasn't been easy. It's been an ongoing struggle. When I say struggle, a struggle whereas you don't know who you really are. You've got no sense of belonging. It doesn't matter if you abide by their rules. We were abiding citizens. And no matter how many times we got up, brushed ourselves off, we got kicked back down. Kicked back down. Every time you get up, you get kicked back down. And not only us, my kids as well. My kids have grown up seeing the police abusing them for no apparent reason. They were just coming to our business. You never knew what time of the day they'd come in, and they'd just abuse us. But we still persevered. We still went on. And what else could we do until we decided enough's enough? We decided to move to Gambia. And moving to Gambia, I think it was the right move. But with us not having that sense of belonging, it's almost like we're going through the same thing. We want to know that we can feel like a part of the community. You have the Gambians that will say, oh, my sister, my brother. How can you feel like a sister and your brother when you don't have that sense of belonging? You're just a wanderer. You're just wandering from place to place. I'm sick of it. I don't want to be a wanderer anymore. I want to feel proud. When I turn around to my kids, I want to say, you know what? You can come to Gambia. You can come home. This is really, truly your home.
BlaXit family. Today we're here and we have the Honorable Minister, Mr. Jallo, and the Honorable Mr. Toure here with us today. And we're just discussing the subject of automatic citizenship. And everyone here have spoken about their investments in the Gambia. My wife have covered most of the investments. So what I would like to talk about is just the historical wrongs that we're here trying to correct. Because while we're sitting here, we read stories about our history, even coming from the Caribbean. We read stories about our ancestors, that some of them, unfortunately, bodies is lying at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, lifeless. Everyone sitting here, they're all our generations. They're our great aunties, they're our great uncles, everything. They're all lifeless there at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. And those crimes was committed against Africans and still gone unjust. It's not been satisfied by the Europeans for those crimes that they have committed. But we are the survivors of those that managed to make it across to the Western world, where they served for another 500 years against their will. They build the infrastructures, they do so much there. Yeah, that should have been contributed here in the motherland. So now we decide we are returning, we search our history, we find our roots from different various parts of our West Africa. So now we decide we are the children, got to bring back the souls of our ancestors, the blood of our ancestors that was taken from this beautiful continent to be at service to the oppressors that destroy our life, destroy our family, destroy our culture. So now we're returning home to work alongside our brothers and sisters, to work in partnership with our brothers and sisters. We are not here to take money out of the Gambia. We are here to bring money into the Gambia. Like for me, I have a trade. I was skilled in building. I'm a carpenter, I'm a mason. I personally take on I work at my compound, a young Gambian, Idrissa, you know, and I'm training him up in building, I'm developing him skills, you know, and many of us doing the same thing. We're here to contribute back into the Gambian community. We help with employment. We've been here over a year, and we have people that we paid every single month. We have about 8 staff, you know. So we just want to be part of the fabric of Africa. You know, we just want to come back home. We want to settle. You know, I was born in the Caribbean island of Montserrat. It's a beautiful country. I live there. You know, the people there, they're friendly. You know, they're well-mannered. They're good people. But I always feel growing up that there was something missing. Because again, when I read my history, I realize, how did we end up here? How did we manage to give up a continent and now living on an island? That every year you got to be worried about hurricanes. Like for instance, Montserrat is the only island now with an active volcano. And that's how I got to England. Because of how we are British dependent territory. Montserrat is still a colony of England. So slavery is not that far away. So that's how I managed to go to England, because they opened up a repatriation package for us to come to England. Yeah, and that gave us our British passport. That's how I ended up with a British passport, because we're still British. You know? So yeah, so now I find my way home. Unfortunately, Gambia is beautiful. I love the people, I love everything. But unfortunately, we met this problem with our citizenship, which we just here asking for the government to just restore our birthright. Because it's actually our birthright. We're coming back home. Our ancestors that was taken from here is now returning. It might not be them physically, but their blood is still in our veins. Their DNA is still in us. So we have a right to come back here and be welcome. And this is all we're asking for, to be welcome back into the Gambian society. We want to relearn our language. We want to relearn our culture. You know, we want to embrace our family. We want to sit down under that mango tree and talk about our experiences. You know, like my wife, she sat with the elders and they talked up until the point where some of the Africans, they went to the seashore. They went there thinking that the brother or the sister will be able to come back after they be taken by boats. This is a historical moment for us coming back. You know, it brought tears to our eyes. So when we come here and see that we have to go into the same process as the ancestors of those that taken us away, those that destroy our heritage, those that destroy our culture, it's an insult to us. And this is why we're reaching out to the government. We're reaching out to His Excellency Adam Barrow, because he too have experience living in Europe, and he know what the challenges that we face there. You know, I mean, we invest heavily here in the Gambia. As Matthew is one of the biggest investors among us here in the Gambia. And we all come to hyperlink as a central point where we meet. And we all having this discussion. This time we have this discussion to rest. It's time we have a celebration right here at hyperlink to celebrate our achievement in restoring our birthright. And we're going to hold that right here at hyperlink. You know, I mean, it was so wonderful to see the ministers came out to meet us today on a Sunday. That they should have been home with their family, but they chose to come out here and hear our cry, and we thank them for that. Yes. We thank them for that. So we just want to be part of the fabrics of Africa again, and we just want to welcome in, as the Ghanaian government is doing, to just reassure us that yes, you're our long lost brothers and sisters, and we're here to welcome you back home. We're here to develop. You know, we have many people in the West that just waiting on the authority to say, yes, come home, welcome home. That's all we need from His Excellency, Adam Barrow. It's just a welcoming for us to come back and be with our family and restore the dignity of our people and also the dignity of Africa. You know, and we can do it together. Hand in hand, we can do it together. I've worked with many Gambians when I was in Europe, and they're beautiful people. Even before I touched the soil of Gambia, I've been working with Gambians. You know, and they're very proud people of their country. And they're doing a very good job in Europe at sending their investment back here. It's because of Gambians in Europe why I'm also here as well. God, they encouraged me to choose Gambia to bring my family. My son is settled in school. My wife is here. She has a platform that she only shows the best of Gambia, and not only Gambia, of Africa. We helped the young brother Usman Toure, and now he's in Rwanda studying his master's degree. You know, we help him, and that's the potential that we have here in Gambia. Gambia is a country that have a lot of young youth labor, and they're talented youths. But all they need is just support. Are we willing to give that support? You know, are we willing to take up any cost to the government for our automatic citizenship? We don't want to be a burden to the government. We are investors. We are entrepreneurs returning home. You know, and we are coming back here to work hand in hand with the Gambians. And that's all our mission. So all we're asking for is just for them to restore our birthright so we can have a grand family reunion. You know, thank you all. Thank you.
We are calling on the executive. We are calling on you, Mr. President, His Excellency Adam Barrow, to hear our plea. We are African descendants. We are Gambians whose ancestors were forcibly removed from your shores in slavery. We didn't ask to leave, but now, in answering the call of our ancestors, we have returned. We are here to support. We are here to work together, and we are here to live in harmony and happiness, and to ensure that we can contribute to the abundance. We're here to contribute to the happiness. We're here to contribute to society. We're here to contribute to the future generations of Gambians. We're here to contribute to the farmers. We're here to contribute to everyday people's lives in the most positive way that we can. We are here and we want to be acknowledged. We want you to restore our citizenship. The Honourable President of Ghana and the ex-President of Ghana, Nana Adufo, he said very clearly that they cannot give us our citizenship because it was never taken away. The only thing that they can do is to restore it. And so we're asking Gambia to please follow in the footsteps of Ghana. We've seen and heard from Dr. Malana, we've heard from Dr. Cambon. These are the pioneers of citizenship in Ghana, and they were working from 1993 all the way up to 2013. Dr. Malana got his citizenship in Ghana, and Dr. Cambon got his in 2016, and last year 134 people got theirs. Now we think it's high time that the whole of Africa follow suit and have the year of return. We have the right to return. We have the right to abode. We have the right to be home. We are not aliens. We are Africans returning home. When we're in Europe or we're in America, we are persecuted. When we are in the Caribbean, we don't fit in. When we return here, our spirit is connected, boom, to the earth, as though we never left. It's as though we never left. And everybody has this feeling when we come here. It's something unique. And Gambians are beautiful people. I've traveled to many countries, and I can say, when I hit Gambia, this is the only place that I cried for 2 days. I cried when I left for 2 days because I didn't want to leave. Because I felt that it's home and there's no place like home. So please, I'm asking you to consider the amendments that we're asking for. Section 188, please include it and consider it, negotiate it, debate it, but put it in to the draft constitution. Stop blocking success and investment. Ghana had $1.9 billion injected into their economy because they had the year of return, which came from African descendants. That $1.9 billion that came into their economy is twice your GDP in any 2 years successively here in the Gambia. Imagine that coming from your brothers and sisters, so you don't need to beg for aid or anything and can be in control of your own destiny. And that can only happen with the unification. With the unification of your brothers and sisters, Africans home and abroad. That is what Marcus Garvey said. We must unify, we must come together. Bob Marley said that. He said the unification of Africans, right? So we want automatic citizenship. We're saying partial citizenship when we arrive at the airport. Give us that stamp in our passport. We are here to create homes, affordable homes for Gambians, home and abroad. Home to create affordable homes for us. So let's work together. We are family returning, and we need to be seen as family returning, and we want a family reunion. So BlaXit family, there you go. So that's what it's all about, and I want to thank you for watching, subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and please, please, please keep supporting BlaXit and what we're doing, because you enable us to be here, adding to the progress of code, adding to the progress of our local Gambians. And I want to say a big up to Usman Toure. Keep working hard, we're proud of you. And to all of our Gambian brothers and sisters here, we are showing nothing but the best of Gambia. We're here to support you, and we love you. One nation, one Africa. Thank you, BlaXit family. Please keep watching, please subscribing, and remember, follow your dreams.
Purchase your tracks today. 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 Purchase your tracks today.